Hello everybody, welcome back. No face cam today because this is a very impromptu video. I learned that I've been given access to do this. My rating is up to 1029, so I don't know if it's because of that or because of how many games I played or what, but I can officially watch people rated about 500 to 600 and how many duels they've played, this player. Which is kind of cool. So I figured I'd record this. This would be my first one. I was about to jump into it, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this. So let's get right into it. First player here, our first case. This is moving. The player is rated 500 to 600, and then, like I said, they played 600 to 700 games. So we'll just get right into it. Let's see. We see that the final location here. I guess I could. Well, obviously, it's Russia, and we see it looks to be just north of Kazakhstan. They zoom around, pretty normal. It is moving and they are not moving, which I find, I guess you kind of always do a little pan around. Nothing against that. Pretty typical so far. No information they can just like look up on their computer really, or look up on their phone. I don't think they'd be cheating. We got hooks that you find in Bulgaria and Latvia, but I don't know if you can find them. Lithuania, maybe. I'm not sure. See, I don't even know if I feel qualified enough to be doing this. It's kind of insane that they've given me access to this. So what do they look at this ban. I mean, they've played 600 to 700 games. Their rating, I want to see where they end up guessing, I guess. But in my mind, this is a pretty fairly normal moving round so far. You're just panning around looking for information. Let's go back a little bit. What are we doing here? So we start out here. To be honest, I feel like I've been in this position too, where I'm like, yeah, I'll just click Russia, and then I move it a couple times. So, and it's not like they clicked on it. I mean, it is relatively close, but to me, it just seemed like they had a vibe. So I'm gonna say, Googling, not guilty. Scripting, if you are not 100% sure, I'm pretty sure they didn't cheat there. I wouldn't say so. You've played 600 to 700 games. That's my opinion. Next case, same exact position here. 500 to 600 rated. Duels played 600 to 700. So we can see off rip. Yep, Mexico, giant Mexico flag here. So it's not very difficult if you have played 600 to 700 games to know what the Mexico flag looks like. I would hope you knew. This is in no move mode though. I guess I don't know if I mentioned that, so it'll be a little bit more interesting to see, as no move is my preferred mode to play. Cool little green strip on the bottom of the plate there. I don't know if that's specific to this region, but yeah, pretty normal. They're not like stopping and just staring. I know there's something there that says Coatepec, which may be a place that they may be Googling here. We'll see though. But this doesn't look great when you just sit there and kind of stare at it. And you're not scanning on the map. Where do they end up guessing? If they guess right on top of it, I'm calling them out for it, because that is pretty... I mean... that's a tough one. But to me, that looks pretty obvious. It looks like... just trying to get into the mind here. To me, you sit here and look at Coatepec. You don't look on the map for it. You don't scan on the map. What are you doing for that entire period of time right there? You see it, and you don't do anything. And then you happen to zoom just a little bit farther southeast of where it is. You're like, oh, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh. Yeah. Not guilty of scripting, but I do that felt very cheaty to me. No opinion. That's my opinion. Sorry if you did not cheat, but that looked pretty. Off up here, it looks like we're going to be Germany. So let's see if I was correct. Yep, pretty typical Germany round. But yeah, close to Netherlands and Belgium, which I guess makes sense. This is moving 500 to 600. Duels played 600 to 700, so let's see. We've got a sign here immediately. I wouldn't know how to pronounce that, but maybe Garach. I apologize for that. This is a long time to just sit and stare at a sign, though, because you can tell they're not scanning. This is a long round, though. I mean, let's see. That's quite suspicious, isn't it? I feel like I might run into quite a bit of cheaters at this level. You're just, yeah, you just know where it's at. I wish we could tell the nationality of the player, but quite suspicious, if you ask me. You look at it for a little bit, and then you zoom in to the west of Germany. Your focal point is on the west of Germany here on your map. That's what I mean. And then you just kind of look at it and you're, yeah. This is interesting. I apologize, like I said, if I'm getting these absolutely wrong. But it's not like they scanned and looked for the town name. They just looked, they hovered over the area and magically clicked on it. Okay, this is a little bit more interesting because this is a rating level that I was in very recently. And they've only played 500, 600 duels, which is a little bit interesting. Let me see, but I'm not looking at the map in the corner. I can look at the location, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe they don't want me to. I can fight it, though, maybe. I'm not sure, actually. I'd say probably Mexico or even Texas. Probably Mexico, though. Because that gap in the line kind of looks like the gap in the yellow lines in Texas, but this feels a lot more. Yeah, it's probably not. Let's see. Okay, it is just west of Mexico City as opposed to east of Mexico City. So let's see what our player does here in No Move. Obviously, we have some town information here. They don't spend too much time looking at it, which is cool. They look around, try and get a vibe check, look at the towns. Immediately open the map, which is always a good sign. This reminds me of me a little bit here. A little bit less now. This is some odd movement that we're doing. We're just kind of spinning around. And now we'll see where they guess, because this is interesting. See, that's insufficient evidence, because you have no idea. That's just a weird player. I mean, you probably know it's Mexico. I'll say insufficient evidence for Googling, but scripting probably not, because you just kind of click the middle of Mexico. But you can't say I'm 100% certain that person is not cheating there. So I will leave that insufficient. I don't know why I'm trying to bother moving this. We're going to be Russia again, but let's see if I can make a region guess. You guys have to use the honor system here and believe that I'm not looking in that bottom right corner. I'm trying to stare at the left side of the screen so it stays out of my periphery. But in all honesty, I would initially see this, and without the red, white, and blue, I'd probably go Ukraine. So for that reason, I'd say closer to Moscow, I think. But let's let the round play out. I'll try and ignore the map until they use the map. No move, 700, 800. Very quick round here. Very aggressive, erratic. Oof. Okay, this is interesting. Because you're not Googling anything here. You're moving like you didn't really take in a lot of information there, did you? Unless they can read Cyrillic, is there anything that says Novosibirsk? Is that Novosibirsk in Cyrillic? Because it could be a Russian player. You know, I've got no idea. No, that looks nothing like it, I don't think. Nome, yeah, I'm not gonna even bother. But yeah, very different. Yeah, submit verdict. I don't think you Googled anything. But that was a little bit suspicious on the scripting, so we'll leave it for insufficient evidence there. Yeah, we'll just see how many of these we could do before they kick us out, I guess. But I might just do like 15. We're just kind of going back and forth here between similar countries and similar areas. I think it's Mexico, but it could be Colombia because I have a big 50-50. The sign looks more Colombian. A big problem with the 50-50 of Colombia and Mexico, I gotta be honest. But let's see. Yeah, those are Colombian signs, I think. It doesn't look Mexican, sorry. Okay, this is very interesting. I feel like I'm running into quite a few people who just sit and stare at a sign. And it's like, what are you doing? Okay. You just really took in that information, I guess. It's Panama. I was way incorrect. That's insane. Yeah, you had to have cheated there. El Cope Barranca. Yeah, you clicked right on it. So it was not Colombia. So I was very incorrect there. Panama. Okay, Panama signs. So look, we're learning here too as well. These are rounds that I may mess up. But that was quite suspicious. We sat and looked at El Hato and Burka, and then within a matter of what? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you click right on it. You're not guilty of scripting, but I do think you're guilty of Googling boss man. I'm sorry about that. Okay, now we're getting really up in it, because this is like, I play 800 to 900. I'm just very recently above 1,000, which maybe is undeserved. You're up here, though. Cuatro Nuevo, so it's probably Spain, unless it's Italia or German. It's German, okay. So yeah, they just go Germany. Where'd they click? Oh, they didn't click anywhere. Oh, they clicked right on it, but I think that's just the town. Yeah, that's not guilty in my mind. That's a good player making a good guess. We'll go quick flip flap of the hands. Okay, interesting. Let's see. I am a little bit rusty, I guess, just in Geoguessr in general when I don't play. But we've got what seems to be a French business. What doesn't appear to be French. Blue plate. It's probably just France. Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, probably just France. Maybe even Paris. But this is a moving round, which we haven't had in a minute, so that's interesting to see. I'm gonna have to take a sip of water here. We got the D287. We are next to Cretil. I couldn't tell you. My French is nicht so gut. Our screen's gone black here. That's unfortunate. And then we zoomed into Quebec. Why has the screen gone black? For so long. Maybe that's my computer. I may skip the case because I don't know what's happening here. What in the hell's going on? Yeah, skip the case, because that's... Apologies. I got kicked out. I was going to say this will be our last one. So let's see. We've got a moving round. Yellow car, white car. My goodness. It says Santiago right there, but this is the Dominican Republic. República de Dominica. I mean, that's quite easy there, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't feel like Santo Domingo, so I feel like I would probably click up there as well. So, not guilty, not guilty. So maybe a lame one to end on. But this is kind of fun. But I think I will call it there. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.